Thought I'd start today. Let's check over. I mean, I can't believe that we're I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't see that this happened in the regular, and I thought like the better starting history. But it's not exactly the case. But we are writing here. So we're today we're going to talk about getting data from other sources. I used to include, so we're getting data, showing you how to get data from the web. And right now, we're calling how to get data. You can click, so you can also use file. We talk about splitting what is in them, and then context data, so not but there's really the unique that we need to do later. They will talk primarily about some things that we need to build that direction. We'll spend most of our time on CSV. CSV is common separated value files are probably the most common way that applications will share data. Have you ever been like Excel and wanted to dump your Excel spreadsheet out? And of course, it's tab separated and common separated value files. It's just a very common way of inputting of importing and exporting data. And so we're going to learn how we can read directly from these CSV files, and then because we can use Python to process it, so we can transform the data using everything that we know about Python to do this transformation before it gets into some way uploaded into some other place. And that's the value of Python. And then we'll talk a little bit about JSON, because JSON is the primary way people share things through the web nowadays. And with the first part, we're going to do some grabbing text files from the web, because that's still possible that you can do. You might have an internal network at your company, you could grab it from some website that's internet. A lot of people don't just directly share text data anymore, let's share it through APIs, which stands for Application Programming Interface. And primarily they'll share that data using JSON. Anyway, so we'll look at that a little bit towards the end, but mostly we'll focus on CSV. I used to do Excel, and I moved it just because it seemed like everything else. Excel is also pretty popular, and I'm going to include that in the future, so it depends on how fast today goes. I'm not going to include it for you, but if it turns out that we get through this pretty quickly, I might add it back into the future. However, I want to also talk about next week. So next week is regular expressions. Have you ever heard of regular expressions before? Not really? That's okay. It is a really powerful tool for working with string data. And it's, I know I've used it quite a bit. I know other people have used it quite a bit. So we're going to go through and so that you have an understanding of regular expressions. But notice it says this is what I kind of want to ask the people that are here today. So online now, according to the new rules, online means I need to record it, and I put the recording out there, and then you guys will just watch this recording and then now, I also can strategically record it. So in scripting 1, the way I did it is I just happened to record it during the regular class time. I shared a Zoom link. And if you cared to show up to the Zoom link, you could watch me record it. Or you could not. But I'm curious, should I just record it over the weekend? And then you guys watch it whenever you feel like it? Or is anybody interested in coming at Thursday at 4 p.m. to watch me record this? So you can attend it remotely from Zoom. How many people are interested in that? And it's okay if you like, don't feel like you have to raise your hand. Yes, so you would like to? You're like, you don't want to keep it.
I have a class in one after this, so it's kind of, I have to go to the board sometimes.
So that's what's mindful, okay, pay attention. Yeah, okay. So I think I will do it then. I won't record it over the weekend. I will record it on Thursday, and then of course, if you want to come, it does make it more enjoyable when people actually chat. It's fun. than me just recording. But, anyway, so that's what I'll do, and I'll post it after that, so don't expect to see the recording earlier. The week after that, we are going to try to do parallel computing modules and testing. The parallel computing I had mentioned before is, I want to introduce you to the concept, it's not technical. Okay, so this should be a fun thing, this is, if you come to class and do this in class, you'll earn some points for doing the activity in class. So it's good to show up for that particular activity. I need people to show up, you cannot do this activity remotely. It just doesn't work. And so we'll be doing some of that, and then we'll get into some modules of testing. Then we have Thanksgiving, and then it is our final exam. So we have homework, last week's homework, I see not very many people have turned that in yet. You really need to focus, that shouldn't take that long to get that done. So my only file is maybe we haven't gotten to it. Okay, so we try to get that done. Getting data from other sources, there's a homework there. Now I want to point out, everybody who's doing this family, I want to go down and make a recommendation. I know you may or may not have been watching all of these other videos that I have created for this class. I made those a while ago, and I need to remake them because there's no closed captioning in them. So I will try to do that this summer. But you see this CSV data, this PowerPoint, and this right here. I think that's worth taking the time to watch that, because that will probably help you. So I'm just throwing that little thing out there, watch that one, because it will help. I think it will make you become a little easier. Okay. Also, if you wouldn't mind going out there right now, I would like you to download the OMDB_JSON and this Texas 2015 entry-level database. So please take a moment and download this for us. Here's your homework. It's processing CSV files. And analyzing serial. Let me zoom in. So today we're going to talk about accessing data. Where are you going to get data? We use the many sources, but we don't want to get it from the input, user input. We get data from sensors. We don't have any of that in this particular class, but the sensor data is often output into text files or CSV files. So whatever the processor that does the sensing. I remember one time my husband was working on a sensor that monitored soil temperatures or soil moisture levels for plants. And he used a little Raspberry Pi, and it used Python, and it basically output whatever the moisture, I don't remember what the measurement, the units of measurements were. But I remember we did that, and then we did one where we were analyzing, we had a device that detected boats. And I remember because I had to drive the car, and he had his computer screen on his map, and my car was moving through the boat. And so we were trying to test the software system, measure those things. Anyway, these sensors are just, they're things that measure temperature. They have accelerators and monitors, they have they produce images into the text out of it. There's information from the web, and we'll cover how to get there. Files, that's what you should know how to do already. You know how to get data from text files. You know how to get data from files. Unless you've got text, you've got the binary or the file, but you don't know how to do CSV. So let's first look at the information. Now, I know that there are constantly new tools coming all the time, and there are more than these two. But I think these two will get you really far. So if you just learn these two, I will be satisfied. So we've got URL open and URL retrieve. Okay, so there is this library out in, there's this Python library that comes with this URL web package that basically was created for the task of building and loading and parsing URLs. Okay, there are 5 modules in this particular package: the request, the response, the error parsing, a robot parser. But we're really going to be focusing primarily on the request module, because that is used to open URLs. The response module is used internally by the request module, so you're not going to use it directly. The error module is primarily for it has several error processes that are displayed if there are any errors related to reading the URL. The parsing is basically useful for breaking up the URL into readable pieces. And a robot parser is just not, it's for bots and callers and users. Okay, so we're going to focus on retrieving data off the web. Have you guys ever heard of Project Gutenberg? Yeah, do you use it at all? Okay. I didn't know it existed until I was hunting for free textiles, and it really uploaded the website. I wish I had known this when my kids were in school, and we had to buy so many books for them that they read for English class and then got rid of it, on garage sale later after that. We could have just got those books right in time. So if you've got kids that are doing going to junior high and high school English, check this out, because it's going to save you some money. Anyway, there, if you go out to Project Gutenberg, it's called gutenberg.org, you can go there and look for it. Yeah, this. As you can see, it's got over 75,000 free ebooks. And you can download all of these books, this is just a sample of a few of them. And they're 100% free. The first few I just read on before, you could also download these two anyway, there are people like these. And usually they're older books, because these are books that have, the newer books have rights, people still are in the older books, they
Other things.
probably, anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how to get a book off the page. And so if you'd like to take a seat, you put that URL. Now the library is available for us to use. And then I'm going to do a derivative. Now, this constantly changes, and so some of what I have listed here isn't going to show, because they removed the response and request facility. So we usually not seeing it. And then we're going to input the URL that we request. So that's one of the things. Now, so this right here is URL that we want to do. This is www.edu.org, cache 11027, PG 11020. So basically, I hunted through all of these books to find these words. Because I thought it would be neat fun to find out what is the most common word used by hymns in this way. And I wasn't certain, I never finished it, I got kind of sidetracked with how many times they use the word gold. Gold is like, but those fairy tales are actually pretty good. I don't know if you've ever read the real ones. They're almost like, but anyway, this is the URL for this fairy tales. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to put, so I'm going to put the URL for this fairy tale. I'm going to store it in a variable called URL. Okay, so once you put the URL, I think correctly, then you need a variable, or you just need a location where you can store it. I'm going to store it in my test data directory. That's where I put all of my and store this class. So we'll organize this. I'm going to call it fairy tales. That's TXT. So I have a variable that stores the URL where the file is at. I have a variable that stores the path to where I want to save the file along with the file name. And then what I'm going to do from the request library, I'm going to use the URL retrieve. Yeah.
Why did you have to report a separate one specific?
Oh, here because I don't want, I could have typed, I just wanted to get just to be tested. I could have done this way. This is just a demonstrator. I don't need all of like the air and the parts and the partial water. So. Okay, so I'm using URL retrieve from the request library. I still have to type, because I'm not saying from URL lib.request info. I have to do the whole, I have to qualify it with the library URL retrieve from. So it's this function in this module within this module. It's got two parameters. The URL that contains the file and where I'm going to store the file. And there we see, I've got fairy tales in my testing directory. So if I go down and look at it, there's fairy tales. And here's these fairy tale stories. We start off with the Goose Girl. The little brother and sister and some little, all of my could but shiver the family and the three brothers. Little Snow White, Catherine and Frederick. As you can see, there is quite a few fairies. And those are now stored on the web.
What is the URL that you
So if you go directly to this URL. Copy it. There's a lot of, like, things for Band-Aids and sterilizing and stuff like that. They had inventory in their company, and we had watched their inventory.